I feel like, Harry, that if there is a defense that has shown itself capable of slowing down a quarterback who is so good with his legs, like Kyler Murray is, it might be the Cowboys, because you can make the case that their group of pass rushers and Micah Parsons as a pass rusher slash inside linebacker slash do whatever you need him to do linebacker is probably as athletic as you're going to find right now in the NFL. They should be able to keep Kyler Murray in check.
There's no thing and there's no ifs about it. You look at the play he made, I believe it was against the Giants, where I think the Giants may have ran a wheel route, and he switched to go back the football down. So to be able to have the intangibles, the intellect, the athleticism to decipher what's going on and go make the play and back that football down was crazy. I do think Michael Parsons is the guy who can actually play every position on the football field. I don't think anybody doubts that with his play this year. And he's also a guy who has 13 sacks, a sack and a half away from tying the rookie record from his teammate's uncle, Javon Curse. So Michael Parsons in that defense, the athleticism, the way Dan Quinn preaches, run to the ball, finish. I think they will have a great chance of stopping Kyler Murray and containing him.
The Cowboys defense is playing so well right now that it's got their defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, right back on the head coaching radar. And yesterday, Adam Schefter reported news that the Jaguars are interested in interviewing Dan Quinn for their head coaching spot. The NFL has a new rule that was implemented this year that teams that have either already fired their head coach or have informed their incumbent head coach that he will not be back for the following season can start interviewing candidates as soon as Tuesday of week 17 of the NFL season. Dan Quinn is not going to interview for the Jaguars during this 2-week window. He's so focused in on the Cowboys. Perhaps it happens later, but it will not happen right now as he's dialed in on the Cowboys and what they have to do to slow down Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Harry, if the NFL were a stock report, the Cardinals would be stock way, way down right now, as they have just been sliding. And it looks like the finish they had last year. Is this team this year different than the team that they had last year, which also slid so far down that they weren't even part of the playoffs? The Cardinals are 8-18-1 under Cliff Kingsbury following week 7. 8-18-1 in basically the second half of the season. Are the Cardinals pretenders, or are they still good enough that they can make noise in the playoffs?
I think if we're looking at right now, they've lost 3 straight fields. So right now I have them as pretenders. And 2, they can correct a few things. Number 1, they got to figure out what's their identity on offense. DeAndre Hopkins is not there right now, so we've seen that offense take a turn in the wrong direction. You look at the penalties that this football team get week in and week out, especially defensively. It's a couple times I've seen defensively there's an opportunity for guys to make plays and alter and change games, and they haven't made those plays. And then you got to look at offensively, Kyler Murray. I need Kyler Murray to be a better leader for this organization, for this team, right? Stop showing up your teammates. Stop throwing up your hands. Talk to guys on the sideline. Understand that everyone is out there trying to do their best, but I've never been a fan of a player showing up another player, and I think he needs to stop doing that. And his body language needs to be better, especially when things aren't going right, when things aren't going wrong. So I just think it's so many question marks right now with this team. When is DeAndre Hopkins going to be back? Is he going to be back for the playoffs? That whole thing, and I think we're actually seeing that the loss of him has taken a toll on them offensively as well. And then you see guys in and out of the lineup. James Conner, I don't think he played last week. He was playing at a tremendous and a high level. And then you get Edmonds back, and then guys are just nicked up here and there. You have some receivers out there playing, some receivers not out there playing. I just don't think there's consistency across the board. The only player I can say there's consistency from on this Arizona Cardinals football team right now, I think, is Budda Baker. Budda Baker is playing lights-out football. You've seen the last game. You've seen him make plays left and right and actually gave this Cardinal team a chance against the Colts. So I just think they have so many question marks right now on their team.
Let me ask you, is there something like, what makes a team a slow finishing team like the Cardinals have been? Because it's back-to-back years now where they've fallen off a cliff in the second half.
Yeah.
Is, no pun intended, with Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach. Is that symptomatic of something? Like, is that a team that's not prepared? Is it poorly coached? Is it a team that doesn't train? Like, are they not ramping up in the right way during the preseason where they're stamina and their energy just falls off? Like, what do you attribute that to? Or could it just be like the tides turned, they played poorly in the second half, and they were never as good as their first half suggested?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.